Okay, here we go. Heath?
We're live. Hey, what's going on?
Well, just got back for a 2-week road trip.
Weren't you on a 2-week road trip last week?
Yeah, the week before too. 2,200 miles of hilly terrain. I took all the back roads a lot of the way just to see what the country looked like. It was kind of fun. And
Yeah, that's crazy.
I was in the Bassmaster on Dale Hollow, and of course we did the Dairy Queen thing down at Truman last
Yeah,
week. I went
yeah,
to Truman Lake for the All-American.
yeah.
And that was fun until I left the drain plug out on my kayak and hurt my back trying to drag it on shore. So other than that, it's been pretty good, Uh,
Yeah, I've
and
hit Dairy Queen up a couple times this week for sponsorship since they were glowing in the back of your phone screen there last weekend, but no response. Not
no,
even when I brought up the 18 dilly bars you ate that day.
I only had one. But anyway, so we're down. We got, by the way, Guardian Angel is sponsoring this, and I want to say this real quick. I want to bring that up real quick. Is that I used it for the second time last week.
The remote comes with that
Yeah.
kit though, right?
Yeah, I don't have the kit one. I don't have out on. I'm going to put it on another one.
Oh, because you had the light beforehand, right?
I had one. I bought one
Gotcha.
last year.
Right,
So,
right.
um, and so I have that. And we lost sound.
I don't know. I can hear you.
Somebody sent a comment there again, if we can. They said we lost sound. Hopefully not. It's every week we go through this. Okay,
We're back.
we're back. Maybe it's because I had that picture up there. I don't know.
Oh,
Um,
maybe you swapped it. Yeah.
We want to thank Guardian Angel for sponsoring, and D Hooker, and of course the Yakoff Kayak Angler Magazine. Yeah, that we lost it during the picture. But that's okay. So I wanted to say that light was pretty good. It has a magnet on it, and it'll stay on there. So you guys, if you want a really durable light, that's one to get. And they have a kit that you can put a stone light on and a bow light, for your motor if you have a motor on your
Yeah,
boat.
you get the white light for the back and the red green for the front for the bow, and then they have a new flag it's all remote controlled too. So
Yeah.
they've got a bunch of new stuff coming out. Chad, the owner, was supposed to be on with us tonight, but he had something pop up last minute, so unfortunately he's not on. He might come in next week because Guardian Angel was what we called the largemouth sponsor of the Yakoffs, which is we had the bracket sponsors of each of the kind of four brackets, and then we had those were the smallmouth sponsors, and then the largemouth sponsor
Oh,
was the semifinals and finals, and that's Guardian Angel, and then of course D Hooker over the whole thing
okay.
as the presenting sponsor. But yeah, so Chad might join us next week as well as Mike from D Hooker. So
Cool. And so what we have here tonight is two of the final three left because
yeah,
Jake Suvak. I'm sorry, I feel bad for Ethan, but man, he won by a large margin.
so yeah, I've got something to say about that too, and I'm not sure how much it influenced, but I think it did. But Vibe Kayaks, who is Jake Suvak's sponsor, basically,
Yeah.
they put out like 3 dedicated emails to a bunch of people last week supporting Jake and asking for people to go vote. So on your socials and all that stuff, it's been making a big difference.
Oh
And it
wow.
was hilarious because Ethan texted me after. He goes, "Well, I gotta say, man, it's a little embarrassing to have the largest margin of defeat so far, but at the same time, he's like, I was the first one to win round one. I was the first one to win round two. I was the first one to lose in the semifinals."
There you
And
go.
he's like, "You can never take that away."
So
He was a
tonight,
good sport. Yeah.
yeah, tonight we got Gene Jensen
Yep.
with his Starlink kayak, and we got Chad Davison, who has basically, I think he's most known for the hook, the lure retriever from his kayak, which is kind of cool. So let's bring him on here. And then
Plus that hog he caught that you filmed him
oh
catching.
yeah, he's no well. That thing went viral almost, Chad. So welcome, guys.
Awesome, guys. It's a pleasure, man. Good to be on here again.
Yeah.
Yes.
And,
What's up, guys?
Third time, which means you're progressing through the Yakoffs, so that's a good thing. 3 people left, and next week's the final, so we'll see what happens.
Yep. So anyway, we're back here with the voting has already started, right? Yesterday.
Yeah,
Mhm.
started Monday morning. Yeah,
Chad, you had a great video there of on your boat. That was pretty cool that you did today. I thought that. And
Thank you. I figure so one of my videos probably goes out to like maybe a couple thousand people, and if Gene does a video, it goes out to like maybe like 400,000 people. So
No, not
or
that
I
more,
many.
figure I just need
or
to
more.
do like I just need to do about 500 videos this week, and then I'll be in good shape.
now don't you work in a hospital there, Chad, with as a
Yeah, I
lab?
do.
So you could just go from room to room and set their phones up,
Yeah,
and get them
yeah. I got
voting.
a lot of people that they don't have anything better to do than to vote, so I just need to go hit
just
them up.
just carry an iPad around with you in every room visit.
I would visit every retirement village in your town. That's what I would do. Little strategies to help you guys. And then
Yeah.
and then you had a pic. Did Gene? Did you see that picture of Chad next to your truck?
No,
That was funny.
You didn't see that?
dude. I have
Yeah.
been so busy the last 3 or 4 days. We had the
Yeah.
TKS this weekend on
Yeah.
Kentucky, and then
Yeah.
I drove straight home after the tournament, and I've been nonstop ever since.
Yeah. Chad
Wow.
sent a picture of him leaning up against the Fluke Master logo on your truck,
Oh, that's
and he's
great.
like, "I'm coming for you." Something like
I
that.
took that picture at Lake Fork, didn't I, Chad?
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of a premonition on Marty there. He said, "We got to take a picture of you," because we had already looked at the way the bracket was set up, and
Mhm.
he's like, "Man, if you make it up against Gene, we got to take a picture." So, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. But Gene, if you're wondering what that big key mark is all the way down the side of your truck,
That's all right. I got to peel the wrap off in a few months anyway.
there you go.
So Gene, the team kayak series, how'd that go last Saturday down where you were at?
It went really good. It was Kentucky Lake. Weather was a little bit off, but they caught them. Jody Queen and Abby Amendanza won their second one in a row. Matter of fact,
Wow.
and so yeah, it's pretty neat to watch those two work as a team. And it really is the difference between first and every other place.
Right.
You
Didn't
know?
Seth, one of our Yakoff contestants, Seth Yates, came in like 6th or something with
Yep.
his team?
Yep.
Nice.
It'd be cool to have them on the kayak fishing story end of the year to share the strategy on the team concept. I would not want to bring it up now because they've got some stuff going, I'm sure. And
Yeah, they just stay in communication with each other and let each other. They don't always fish the same spots. So
yeah. And they're doing well in the Kayak Adventure Series, doing that same thing.
Yep.
With that. So I think it's a great concept. And then Chad, you were in the All American, and your team won again. The Missouri Moyak, they won basically the national club championship.
Yeah,
Great.
I mean, it's a little bit stacked, I would say, because not only is it our home lake, but we have a lot of people fishing that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we had a lot of people there, but at the same time, Arkansas gave it as they usually do. They gave it a good run, and it was pretty close. And there was several teams there that I think were pretty close. So
yeah, Nebraska
it was a good event.
Yeah, we were 8 inches out of second, I think.
Yeah,
and that's my
the
fault.
stick.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, the sticks. They made a solid showing, and you guys did a great job. And it was a cool event. I mean, I hate the fact that Truman Lake, notoriously, because it's a flood control lake, it comes up in the spring. They hold the water in Truman, and it's not unusual for it to come up 10 to 20 feet.
Mhm.
And it seems like it just happens every year, and it just happened. So the fish hadn't quite adjusted, and so it's tough, and you got a lot of guys coming from out of state, and so it didn't set up great for a lot of fish being caught, but that's a good lake, and if we ever hit it right, it's going to put up there. You can catch some big bags there.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And for the third time this year, I was the first man out of a check. Jeez, that gets old. It's
That's
not
got to be a T-shirt. We got to make you a T-shirt.
First man out.
First man out.
Yeah. Anyway,
it was
so
the typical good day one for me and bad day two. So
yeah, I know you're always in the hunt though, Chad. You're always in the hunt. So how did now, Gene? Did you fish in that event down there?
No, I just run it. No, just me and Michael run it.
I was just going to say, how did your kayak handle that type of environment? But Chad, so when it's high like that, what do you do with your kayak that's different, or do you do anything different?
No, a lot of time. Well, if you're talking about water level being high,
yeah, for either one of you,
yeah, I just jack my motor up because I'm going to go super shallow and fish all the way up against the bank. So I'll bring my motor up just a hair, and then probably leave the live scope in the truck or the active target in the truck, and go cover the bank. A good pro tip for when the water's rising or the water's up is you still want to be able to reach the bank with your cast. If you can't, if there's so many trees in the way and stuff like that, you're probably in the wrong area. I've never done good in an area like that, and I know hundreds of people who haven't either. You always want to be somewhere close enough to the bank where you can reach it with a cast, and that's typically where the bass are going to be hanging out. Reason being is it's usually because it's a 45-degree angle bank, and if that water starts dropping, they want to be able to get the heck out of Dodge.
Yeah.
Right.
And not get caught.
Well, what they were doing at Truman though is the bushes were in the water,
Yep.
So the fish were in they were in the bushes. I was cane poling bushes with a creature bait and my Nico.
Yep.
And pulling them out of there. And that's what the guys that were in the top 10, a lot of them did that, didn't they, Chad?
Yeah, and to Gene's point, he's absolutely correct. I also left my Mega Live in the truck, and I also took fewer rods because you're a lot of times I was trying to kind of get back in some heavier cover, and there's like trees and stuff. And so I was trying to keep the number of rods to a minimum so I'm not hanging up and getting my rods hung in trees and stuff. But yeah, you want to be able to get to the bank for sure. What I found, I had one little spot that you kind of had to go back through some trees and some willows, but you could get to the bank. And I had one little key spot that produced some good bites for me on day one, but it wasn't enough. Like that area didn't have enough for day two. And so I was kind of scrambling, but, like he said, steeper banks are usually key when the water comes up, and because the fish, they don't want to get trapped in a shallow area. They want to be able to move easily in the water depth. And I don't know, the bushes, what I heard from a lot of guys is like points were a deal with the bushes, and also the bushes that came up to where they were just barely out of the water. That way you could like pitch a little like a weightless wacky worm or something into the bush and let it fall into the middle of it. It was kind of like people were looking for like these certain kind of bushes. You didn't want too much of the bush out of the water,
right? So
that you could pitch right in the middle of it and let it fall down in the middle. But like the secondary points seemed to be key. The bass were spawning, and so some guys were in clearer water and they were able to see beds. Where I was at, the water was really dirty, and water clarity was kind of a big deal because some areas were cleaner, some areas were super dirty, and it was changing every day because they were pulling like 35,000 CFS or whatever. And so you go there one day and it would be a decent watercolor, and the next day it like pulled that dirty water from the back and out to where you were fishing the day before. And so it was just constantly changing.
Yeah, and then also I wanted to tell you I did catch a couple off beds back in the creek, and it was clearer water. But the main thing was on secondary points is where I got most of my bites, and it would reload as well there, and especially if there was bushes there. But I just didn't eat big ones.
Yeah, Jared Fosno, who's a good buddy of mine. He lives there. He knows that lake like the back of his hand.
Right.
And he won the event, and he got second last year. And he had an area that he was able to pre-fish, and he knew that area was going to be relatively stable as far as watercolor. He found a bunch of fish that were spawning. He was able to mark beds and just go run that stuff. And he just had a solid pattern to run. And if you don't know the lake, you're trying to figure that out on the fly, and it's changing conditions, so it's pretty difficult.
Yeah. Well, so what did you do anything different with your kayak, Chad, on that with this higher water?
Yeah, I mean, just like Gene said, I left the forward-facing sonar in the truck because I didn't want even bother with that. I'm not that good with it anyway. I use it and sometimes it's helpful, but I didn't want to have to deal with that extra stuff on the kayak when I'm going through bushes and stuff. And then I took fewer rods, but other than that, not really. I'm still using my autopilot, my Minn Kota motor, and I was still able to use all that. I've got a Power Pole Micro on there, which came in handy sometimes in the wind when I was in shallow areas where I could drop that down and just kind of pitch around an area and work it without having to worry about. There was times when I was really back in shallow water in the bushes where I would just raise my motor up and use the paddle to kind of paddle around and use the power pole if I wanted to stay in a spot. But that's pretty much it.
Let me see if we got. Yeah, I got the board up here. In the meantime, though, and so Gene, did you go out at all in the water where you were at, or you stayed back?
No, I didn't get to fish until I got home yesterday. I woke up yesterday morning, went out, shot my May Baits video, and fished the rest of the day with my son, and caught absolutely nothing in my home lake. So
really,
yeah,
happens everywhere. Yeah,
they just fertilized it, so the visibility is about 3 inches, and the bass are not. You can't even catch them if you hit them in the head.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move this over. I'm gonna move everybody over one so we can get our.
We should just because we know Gene's got a ditch here in about 10 or 12 minutes for a meeting with Cast King.
Yep.
We should skip to more of the competition stuff, and then we can chat more later too.
Yeah. So what do we got here, Keith? Go ahead.
Well, we just got. Let's show a bit of the videos.
Yeah.
What is going on, guys?
I'm going to do more because we showed.
I just want to be able to remove it, so that's why I put it in a box. So right here, this is my
back up about 10.
Made this out of Kydex.
Yeah, a little bit
because I want to be in camera gear and that kind of stuff.
Back up.
I want to be able to have everything that makes it to where I can get to them fast, to cut line, to reach. I've got track packs right here. This one will hold all the baits that I'm fishing during that day. And then this has just got extra, extra hooks and sinkers and lures and stuff like that, so I don't have to climb to the back of my
That's just quick
in my
gear.
black
That's
pack
the gear I use
often.
to get,
Again, maximizing the number of casts.
It stays empty
under my seat.
The water.
I've got magnets up underneath the seat that hold my scissors and hold my pliers.
I like that.
And that makes it to where I can get to them fast, to cut line, to retie, to take a fish off a hook, and everything else.
So what I did is
I want you to notice that the cockpit itself is very empty. I want to be able to have everything out of the way to be able to land a fish, be able to handle a fish, and be able to put them on a catch board.
Yeah.
Now, got my kayak cushion. This is actually a brand new one. They usually fade out on me because I'm in the water all the time. Underneath my seat, I usually keep food and drinks and toilet paper and camera gear and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I was just going to say, you just mentioned kayak cushion there. I'm chatting with Brandon, and a surprise going to the winter, we just designed a Yakoff champion new logo on a black kayak cushion. It looks pretty sweet. It's going to get to whoever wins this thing.
Yeah,
as one of the prizes.
One thing I forgot to show that's under the seat is my retractable lure retriever.
Oh, you've got one too?
Yeah, but it's on a dog leash. It sits underneath my seat.
Oh, he's stealing your thunder, Chad.
A little bit more here.
Yeah.
I love Chad. Chad's built in. It's pretty cool.
There's my 100 amp hour Reliant battery that I've already showed, but this right here, this box is my module for my active target. And I do not believe in mounting it inside the boat permanently, because I want to be able to take it out, work on it, take it out and put it put it on another boat, or I just always want to be able to.
Okay, I got a question. Dean. So when you did your build, did you like draw it out, design it, or did you just start like putting stuff on it?
Oh no, this is years of figuring out where things go and trying stuff. Matter of fact, I've got new things on my kayak that are on there that aren't even on this video.
Okay.
That I've done to it. I'm always adding and taking away and trying to get it more and more efficient. And so that black box used to be behind the black pack in the SS1, the 127. It doesn't fit back there, not like the way I like it. So I moved it up front.
Can you reach your black pack? Pretty good.
Oh yeah, easily. Yep.
Okay, cool. That's pretty neat. Do you need to watch some more? Or?
Yeah, watch some more.
Okay,
just a little bit.
All right.
To remove it, maybe to go to Walmart or anything like that. So, and I don't want a trailer with that thing, with the sniper pole on there. So I just want to be able to remove it. So that's why I put it in a box. So right here, this is my catch board holder. Made this out of Kydex, and it holds it until you literally just drop it in there, and it just holds it tight.
Wow,
that's all it is. Really simple.
That's my favorite thing on the kayak right there.
That. Now you could get what's his name that does the 3D stuff to make one of them.
Oh no, because 3D it will probably break. That being Kydex, it'll last forever.
So how did you cut it?
I just cut it with a jigsaw and used a heat gun and molded it around the board.
Do you have a DIY video on that?
No.
That's
something I just did out of necessity because the back of the PWR is a little bit skinnier than the SS107, so there was no room to put my catch board where I used to put it up against the black pack. So I had to build something. So that was mainly out of necessity, but I made it to where literally I don't even have to look back. I just drop it in. And it drops and locks in.
That's a cool idea.
And doesn't come
Best
out.
holder that I have found so far. And yes, I made it. So give me some credit if you copy. Got my bending branches paddle. The pickpocket right here has got my JJ's Magic in it, like always. I
just used some T-bolts to mount those, the holes that are in the rod holders.
Yep.
I just dropped some T-bolts through those holes and screwed it in just like you would on a rail. So it just it stays there. And then I just zip tied the box on there because I just trailer with it on there. I don't even take it off.
Wow.
So that way it's
hold 8 rods on this 13x16 black pack. Got the short stack, holds all my soft plastic.
That's the most organized that box has ever been.
And I got 3600s in here.
That was pre-championship.
Yeah. Pretty nice.
That's King 3600s.
All right. Let's show some of Chad's here before Gene has to ditch us here.
Okay, gotcha. Interesting. Okay, so let's go to Chad real quick.
Hey, guys.
What part,
Chad Davison.
What part do you want?
I think the beginning is good because it's your new part mostly, right?
Okay.
Every round, I think this is probably my last, but thanks to you, we are back again.
Come on, Chad.
16, and now we have made it to the final 4 of Kayak Angler Magazine's Yakoff Awards.
I saw this morning.
There are some awesome kayaks on here, and it just keeps getting more competitive. Every round, I am continuing to add more footage of my Old Town Autopilot for you to check out. There are some new fish catches and more on the water action, and if you missed the previous rounds, keep watching till the end because it's all on here, including how I tow my kayak behind my camper, the lure retriever many have asked me about, and the full in-depth walkthrough of my kayak setup. I appreciate
really
all
good
the
intro.
support that has gotten me
cool.
this far, and I need it now more than ever to make it to the final round.
That's cool.
Like maybe one or two at the most an hour that were over 24, and then all the other money places were.
Get the heart pumping right.
Take on the big boat.
little head nod.
Yeah, that was Table Rock there.
Classic Table Rock. Dodging boats.
Yeah, that day was crazy.
That looked like Hill Hollow.
That was one of the windy days at Lake Fork.
That was pretty good.
This was one of the best head knocker buzzbait bites I've ever had.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That is why you throw the head knocker buzzbait.
Nice job. Both of you, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like my strategy's
This
been
video was taken just a few weeks ago.
Hold on.
At the Bassmaster
Inside.
Kayak
Marty, you
Series
filmed this?
National Championship in Lake
Yeah, this
Fork,
was Marty
Texas,
here.
Okay, go
He
ahead. I'm
filmed it.
sorry, Chad. What were you saying?
Well, I mean, my kind of, I guess, so we're like the first ones. We're the pioneers of the Yakoffs. So we didn't have any like guidelines to go by. We're kind of making this up as we go along, and everybody's done it a little bit different. But I mean, I had the first round, I just did a in-depth walkthrough of my kayak. Then the next round, I had that great fish catch at Lake Fork. It was my PB, an 8-pounder that Marty filmed. And, I added some video and stuff for, the second round. And then this round, I've added some more like drone footage. And, we've got video of my camper that I pull my kayak behind my camper and launching videos. And just, I've just been adding every round. So every round I try to add more footage to make it like a little bit more fresh and new content for people to look at. So
I was fortunate to have my buddy.
One of the things we were chatting about at work all the time, and to keep it exciting, and is to get fresh content and all that kind of stuff in. But wasn't expecting it at all. But last week in the first round of the semifinals, we blew away our most weekly votes ever by like almost 2,000 extra votes than our previous record. And this week is on track to go ahead of that, because I think brands are getting more involved and people are realizing they're getting closer to winning. And there's a cash prize. There's some coverage in Kayak Angler on the magazine and digitally, and there's going to be a bit of a presentation at ICAST for the winner. So there's a bunch of stuff going on.
Gene, do you have to get going here?
Yep, I got to get going in about a minute and a half.
Okay, all right. I'm going to play a little bit more, but anything else you want to say, Gene, before you go?
Dude, Chad, good luck, man. This is a good deal. Like I said, that's a really good intro, and I love your kayak, man. So,
yeah, you too, Gene. I mean, you've been somebody I've followed since even before I was kayak fishing, back when you were doing the 10 boat stuff. And I mean, I've been a fan of yours for many years, so I wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, appreciate
Marty,
it.
you gotta, before Gene's gone, you gotta move him so I can get the fisticuff shot.
Oh yeah,
okay. Means I gotta hold on.
It's hilarious. You guys are being so nice to each other, and like when Robert English and Chad Hoover were on here, Chad's like, he kicks puppies.
That's my old tournament days.
Yeah. All right, let me get this ready.
All right, there you go.
We'll get the trophy in the background. How about that?
There you got a blue trophy.
All right,
ready?
Fists up.
Come on,
Chad.
Chad. Dukes up.
Come on, Chad.
Dukes up.
All right.
No, other way. Unless you want to get hit in the back of the head.
Yeah, get him up, Chad.
There you go. You got to look mean. Don't look at us and smile. There you go.
That's awesome, Chad.
That was awesome.
I don't think Chad has a mean bone in his body. So
he's like, that was fun. Hey, Gene, thanks for joining us. We can stay on here and chat a bit, but I know you have a meeting, so good luck with that. And
the old 9:30 meeting with China.
Yeah. We got some stuff coming on our way from Cats King too. So
Yep. All right, y'all take care. Good to be on.
All right, man. Good luck, Gene. See you later.
All right, bye.
I'm going to play some of this video for you, Chad. Okay, so that people.
Chad, you can tell us what you really think now. By the way.
Yeah, everybody vote
Marty
for Chad
there just by random chance. He caught this on video, and it's a great video. It shows the stability of that Old Town autopilot.
We got to go back. That is cool, man.
That was the one you filmed, Marty, right?
Yeah.
Got this on video, and it's a great video. It shows the stability of that Old Town autopilot.
Look at that thing. That's big.
He even gave you video credit there. He just said, my good buddy Marty Hughes.
There you go, yeah. I was just shooting a breeze.
How you're
Look at that.
easily able to stand and move around in the kayak. This was a new personal best for me, an 8.04 pound largemouth, and it was just an awesome experience, and I'm glad I was able to catch it on video.
Very cool.
Something else that's pretty cool about my kayak and trailer setup is I have it set up to pull behind my camper, and
Malone Trailer.
Yep.
Malone's one of our sponsors.
Yeah, the Malone Ecolite.
Ecolite, yeah. I saw a guy at the ramp yesterday. No, a guy that I guided. I'm sorry, a guy that I guided Sunday. He brought he and his wife with him, and they brought a Malone. It had a tandem setup. It was pretty cool looking on there.
Largely in part due to the fact that I have that super lightweight Malone Ecolite trailer, and I have my camper set up to pull behind. This is legal in Missouri. It's not legal in all states, and I use this mainly for local and regional events that aren't too far from home.
Nice. Any more you want to watch?
You could throw like an elephant or giraffe in there and get sponsored by Disney.
Here I'm going to show how I launched the kayak.
That's a good idea.
The Old Town autopilot has a lot of great benefits, including a ton of room and stability, but it is a big, heavy kayak, so being able to have it on a trailer and launch it at a boat ramp is a big benefit. And it really launches super easy with those 3-inch electrical conduits. It slides right off, and then I just reverse the process to load it and pull it right up on there. So this is how I do it majority of the time, and it works out really well.
Man, your back's a lot better off than mine. Oh.
And then I think that lure retriever is the next part.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, that's the thing. It seems like a lot of people have been interested in.
We'll put that on here because we have a lot of people watching. So, 1 second here. And then we'll get some questions here from people in a second here.
Yeah, for sure.
Then one of the last things I'm going to talk about today is the AutoTreeve lure retriever. This is a lure retriever that's built into the kayak. It spools out, and basically you just use this by clipping it on your line and sliding it down to the bait that's hung up. And this thing works great. It's more than paid for itself over the years that I've had it. And it's amazing how many times you can get your bait free using this. You can get one at luresaver.net. And like I said, it's called an AutoTreeve lure retriever. And man, a lot of people have really been interested in this thing. It's really a neat gadget.
You know, I just came up with an idea. By the way, I wanted to say this too, Chad. Last weekend at Truman, I had my jerk bait on the second cast was snagged in a bush about 2 foot below the surface. I used my net to hook on it out, and it works. So there you go, guys. You don't have that. But here's an idea. So we have this Sportsman's Expo here in Auburn. Wouldn't it be cool that guys bring in their kayaks and we have like a builder's day where you go around and you're helping guys and tinkering with the, wouldn't that be a cool thing to do in the winter?
For sure.
Totally.
You know, and have
and like Chad's talking about that lure retriever, but the cool part is how you rigged it up in your kayak.
Yeah,
and how you did
that's what I mean is that, you know, like Chad's at this deal and there's a lot of these kayaks and he goes, yeah, this is how you build it, man. You do it this way. And you bring parts, like bring some parts and you can trade guys and all that. Wouldn't it be cool, Keith?
Yeah, bring your kayak in and have it outside kind of thing where you could, local people could bring their kayak and you can get some pro tips and help installations, and
you can wheel them. Where I'm at, we can wheel them right into this building, and have them set up, and then have it actually make it part of the expo where you bring your kayak in. We have several kayaks set up there, and guys are over there and they can help you with ideas to tinker with your kayak and make it better.
Yep.
And there's an idea for next year. So I'm going to get some questions here. Nice job, Chad, on that video, man. So
thanks for updating that too, Chad. Like, that was pretty cool how you did the little talk at the beginning, and I liked it. Good.
Thank you.
There was a deal about I wonder what Gene does with his batteries when it's raining.
I know we didn't get that question answered.
I don't know. Let's see. Let's do a fish off. Oh, a fish off. Trey says do a fish off with Gene Jensen.
Yeah, I saw that.
That'd be a good one. That net job yes, and I was coaching you, Chad, wasn't I?
Yeah, that was. I cut out a lot of the missed netting parts of that. Yeah. I probably tried to net that fish like 4 or 5 times before I finally got it in the net. It was kind of a bit of a cluster, to say.
Yeah, that's the beauty of editing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, you guys both have incredible builds, man. It's just incredible. And like
I'll say this.
Huh?
I haven't brought this up since the beginning, but I forget who said it to me, but someone texted me when they saw the bracket, and one of the comments was, Chad Davison is a sleeper, watch him. And now he's almost in the final.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look back and see who said that to me, because it was no one involved. It was like a fan at the beginning.
Yeah.
But very cool.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just because of the rescue dog.
Yeah, Whoppy, he's asleep over here. I might have to pull him out if I need a little bit of reinforcement. But it's crazy. Sure. It's a little crazy because I almost didn't even enter the competition because it started in the middle of winter and my kayak was in the garage and it was like there's like stuff piled on top of it, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm even going to do pictures or anything like that. And then Keith sent me an email like the week before and said, hey, you still interested in doing this? And it just so happened that the weather in Missouri, there was like a warm weekend. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. And I got it out and got it all cleaned up and did all the pictures and video and stuff. I had a perfect weekend to do it. So everything worked out. I never expected to make it this far.
And that's also a cool part, like, Jake Suvak, who's in the finals already, he pulled his out to get it all going, and it snowed where he lives for the first time since he's ever lived there.
It was snowing in his video.
His videos, it's snowing.
Yeah.
But that's also a question that I'm going to be asking everybody after, and anyone that wants to chime in the comments. So we are going to run another Yakoff. We're going to do these semi-annually now. As you guys who are tournament anglers, what would be optimal times for us to run 2 a year, knowing that they last pretty much 3 months? So the next one we were thinking about this September, kind of mid-September for a few months.
Yeah.
Like, what would
that
you
would
guys?
Probably be good. That would probably
be
good.
Optimal times. Yeah, because one of the challenges I had at the start was, even though we ended up with having like 60, 70 people apply, people were like, "Oh man, this sounds awesome," but I just stored it for the winter, kind of thing, right?
Well,
like you were saying, I just got it cleaned up. So
I think you could, because what we've run into is a lot of guys are in tournaments. Like I was on the road, Chad's on the road, everyone's on the road,
right?
But I think if you had the entries towards the end of the season, in the early fall, and people submit them, and then do the contest through the winter, I think you'll get more people watching too. And also the guys have their builds already made, done, and they know what they're doing, And then
so we want to run 2 a year though now. So like one in kind of springish time, like we did here, and then one in fall. And also the main reason being, after we run the next one, we want to be able to listen to the surveys we do and all that kind of stuff, where a lot of the people that buy Kayak Angler and follow Kayak Angler, they're not all professional kayak anglers. They're not all sponsored. They don't all have all this opportunity. So we want to run some other types of Yakoffs for like pros versus schmoes, or just, you know what I mean? Like different themes of everything, like kayaks under a certain value, and do the whole thing, but keep the prize levels at the same level, basically. But run it so more people can be like, yeah, these are awesome kayaks, but I can't afford to build a kayak like that. So have one where it's more for like the regular weekend warrior that can really learn what they can do, more DIY stuff, and just do different themes about everything.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. I know.
Totally up for suggestions from everyone watching and everybody out there.
I think the only thing I would say is starting it in the middle of winter, like January, February, is not the best time, but any other time of the year, I think as long as you have a little bit of notice, you're able to find some time to get it out and, start creating all of your content for your entry. Right. Then it's good. That's the only thing.
So what we were thinking of we actually had a meeting about this today, and anyone can chime in and let us know what you think, but we were thinking like doing like a March, April, May, and then a September, October, November.
There you go.
So it's kind of on both sides of the summer, right?
That would work.
Yep.
Yeah. And having it out there so people know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think a lot.
I already have way more applications for the second one, and we haven't even put dates out there yet. Like people have started submitting already.
Anybody who does it from this point forward is going to have the benefit of like kind of having some idea what to expect in a framework to go by. So this was all like brand new. We didn't even know what this thing was.
Yeah.
And so,
and man, Chad, neither did we, right? Like this was the inaugural one, but I mean, the platform that our tech team built and everything was so good. And we got so many compliments on how we developed it. But at the same time, like Jeff and Paul from the Aggressively Average Anglers, they both would like to get into the next one. And they did like a full-on podcast for 2 hours last week going through the entire Yakoffs and having live polls on their podcast of how their audience would have voted for who going through. And it was very cool to watch. But at the same time, they were taking mental notes of what was kind of consistent in everyone's submissions that went through. So there's that background now where this was totally raw and cool because it was the first one, but now there's more for some history to look at, right?
I tried to find that podcast. I couldn't find it.
For sure. I think it's only going to get better, and the competition's going to get more competitive. Like every one of these you do, I think it's just going to get better and better.
Well, it's it's like the native watercraft thing. Did you see the results of that yesterday?
Yeah, they pit a kayak against a kayak, right? Like they're NAR against this or whatever.
Well, no, they had a nationwide catch all you can.
Oh yeah. That
minimum 14-inch. Well, there was a dude that put up over 80 fish. That's one every 5 minutes. I mean, that's crazy. And actually the northern guys did pretty well in the numbers, and then the southern guys did well in the size, But that's going to grow. They had over 200 anglers on that. And I did want to get this question for Jordan Rhodes. By the way, Keith, you may or may not know this. Does that name look familiar?
Is what? What were you looking at?
Jordan Rhodes there.
That's the guy. Yeah, he's the guy we got to get that Guardian Angel shipped to, right?
I don't know if
that's talking about.
I just know that he lives here by Auburn. It's outside of town here. We fish the same ponds. And I'm actually guiding him and a friend on Thursday.
Nice.
But get this. If you look at your Kayak Angler Magazine, the new edition, which I did get finally.
Yeah, me too.
Nice.
Yeah. He's in there.
It's a good issue, eh?
Yeah, he's in there.
Oh, yeah, that's where I recognize the name from. Yeah.
He's in there for his Master Angler.
Usually when you ask me if I recognize a name, it's like I forgot to ship someone something. Because I give away so much stuff all the time.
Not this time. But he's
cool.
He's a frequent flyer here, so
that was everyone. We've got a lot of compliments on that buyer's guide. This guy.
Yeah, there you go. He's in there. He's in there. So, Chad, you want to answer that question?
Please repeat the question.
A weather condition or pattern that only makes you want to get out on the water. For example, consistent weather, wind, solar, lunar before a front. For me, it's before a front. But how about you?
For me, it's it's about the mood my wife is in. I go fishing.
Yeah. I mean, it depends a little bit on the time of the year. Because, if it's like the cold winter months, if you get like a really warm day, obviously that's prime. But most of the year, those pre-front days where it's the barometric pressure is dropping and you get some wind and some clouds and but it's still like that kind of like warm, humid kind of day.
Mhm.
That can be like the fish can be really chewing on those days. I have some lakes that I like to fish for our monthly online tournaments that I like pay attention to the water, the wind direction, and like if the wind's blowing right into like some key areas, I look at that. But in general, those prefrontal days are those you usually expect to have a good bite on those days.
Absolutely. And then I look at the night temperature. If it's a little bit higher, the bite's going to be really good in the morning. Whereas if it's
Yep.
colder at night, the bites may not get good till later on. But if you've got a high 60s, low, anything over 60 at night, especially in the spring, you're going to have a great day in the morning, next morning out there. So yeah, it's good question there, Jordan. What else was I going to ask you here? I can't remember now, but anyway.
I was going to say two things here. First of all, about the podcast, Marty.
Yeah.
Next week is the final, guys, and we usually start this at 6 o'clock, right? Or 6 o'clock Pacific.
8.
So
Central.
we chat 8 Central, 6 Pacific. So 9 Eastern. We're going to push it back half an hour next week, right, Marty? We're cool with that still?
Yeah, we're going to go to 7:30 Central.
Yeah, I got asked to go on Wendell Fishing podcast, and I just want to make sure there's enough time. It's right before.
Yeah.
So
now,
we're gonna do both.
Next week I'll be on the road again, so I may be in a McDonald's, a Dairy Queen, I don't know, but I'm going to be on the river. And if they have Wi-Fi,
you'll be at a Dairy Queen. We all know.
But
I'm going to get you sponsored.
I just hope that I'm at a place that I can talk, with you guys. So it should work out. I'm actually on the road that day. So,
and here's something cool that if people that are listening want to tune in and mark this on their calendar, we are going. Marty is coming with me on a pretty epic trip in mid-June. So we could be running, and the Wi-Fi there is awesome, Marty. So we could run a podcast from Sea Otter Lodge on the northwest coast of Vancouver Island on June 17th. Tuesday, June 17th.
We're going to do
run your podcast from there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll do one.
With all of, with the people that are going to be up there because we have internet.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be fun to do it from there.
Yeah.
On a private 8-acre island in Kayakjak, British Columbia, in the middle of nowhere.
Will they let me bring my laptop across the border?
I got to work, man. I don't know. I'll bring my laptop for sure, so you could use mine.
Okay. I don't know if I want to bring my laptop that far, but.
Yeah, they seem to work in Canada as well. I'm not sure, but.
Okay. I've never been there, so I don't know. I've never been to Canada.
We do have internet. I'm here right now, right? So.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, as long as if I knock a couple blocks out of my igloo, I can get a pretty good signal.
There you go. So I do want to put a plug in for our little derby this Saturday.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, I have not unwrapped the Hoodoo kayaks yet because of my back, but hopefully tomorrow I was able to drag. Can you imagine an old man in the neighborhood dragging the crossbars to your kayak trailer across the lot to your other lot? I'm dragging him. People are looking at me like, what is that guy doing? I couldn't carry him because my back hurt. So I got the crossbars on the trailer. So tomorrow I'm going to go to my mechanic at Gilbert's, and we're going to unwrap those kayaks and get some pictures made, and go from there. But anyway, yeah, I saw it. And Steven's got one too, I think. We're with the local police department. You broadcast the TQ parking. Yeah. Hey, Steven, that police officer, she was staring at me like, I said, do you want to get on my podcast? No, not really. He just kept staring at me with this other gal like funny. I was violating a law or something there.
Yeah.
And she was cool to me. But anyway, so we're having this doggy paddle. And you know what? I've gotten a lot of interest fact, 2 people dropped off form today. We're doing this old school. I mean, there's an online form, but you can fill out a paper form, the waiver and all that. But we made it with quite a few there at that.
Great.
And the idea is that you're trying to catch 5 bass with a paddle kayak and no sonar, and we're having a drawing for the kayak. But the way you win the kayak, Chad, how do you like this idea? We're going to have bobbers that are numbered, and you have to retrieve a bobber from the lake. They're out there spread out, and whatever number you bring back, if your number is drawn, you win the kayak.
So are the bobbers just like floating randomly around the lake? They're not attached to anything?
They're not attached to anything. No.
Wow. It's kind of like an Easter egg hunt.
Yeah, Easter egg hunt. But here's the thing, though, is oh, good. Jordan's, you know what, Jordan? Yes, I need help on Friday moving kayaks.
Nice.
Thank
you, Jordan. That'd be awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. And shout out to Hoodoo, Chris at Hoodoo Sports, for donating that kayak prize to Marty.
Yeah.
And also shipped Marty a new Impulse 120 to use.
So those that show up on Saturday will get to try out the Impulse.
Great. And it's
there.
a wicked boat.
As a separate kayak there for people just to go ride around in, but they cannot use the fins to fish with that day. But I've got a couple guys interested in buying one already, or purchasing one. But yeah, Jordan, that'd be great. So anyway, Chad, you're still fishing because you're fishing for a bobber. And then not only that, Chad, your dog there, does it retrieve?
Just like treats, that's all.
Okay. Well,
he'll I mean, he's not super trained, but I don't have him bobber trained yet.
Cool. Well, here's the other deal, though. We have a Bending Branches paddle that we're going to give away, a nice one. Now, you know how you win that? You got to bring your own stick. You chuck it out in the water by the dock, and we have a dog from Hearts United there that's going to retrieve a stick. If he retrieves your stick, you win the paddle.
That cool? Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Bob Sturgeon, who goes way back in kayak fishing, he lived in Missouri for a while. He makes handmade crankbaits out of wood. Like, these are incredible baits that he makes. And they make keychains, but they catch fish. And he's donated one for this as well. So somebody's going to win that. That's quite a deal, that deal. We have a bass kit. We have a Yak Gear box. Anybody catches a 20-inch bass, we have lots of prizes they can choose from there. And then we have a micro bag. So the smallest 5 fish wins a prize pack from Z-Man there. And then we have a big bass prize pack from Z-Man as well. So there you go, Chad. You could haul up here, get that little Pelican kayak out, and go paddle around and catch some bass.
I think, Marty, you should have a Kayakjak trophy, which is the first person out of a prize gets your trophy.
You know what? Yeah, thanks. Hey, you guys keep talking. Right back.
Hey, you know something that I think is worthy of noting, that I'm really surprised by it, because you guys had some pretty big names in the kayak world in this first Yakoff competition. You had Chad Hoover, you had Drew Gregory, you had Austin Hoover. We've got Gene Jensen, and I know I'm probably forgetting somebody, but I mean, there's some names that are like pioneers of the kayak world. Marty Hughes, for example. But a lot of those guys didn't advance, and so I mean, I was surprised by that. I was surprised that some of the biggest names that we had in the competition, as far as probably some of the most well-known names, it seems like a lot of the voting really is for
it was
where
like
people
legit voting,
think
right?
It's legitimately what they felt like. What kayak setup they like the best. I mean, you can't really say what's the best kayak setup, because there's so many different ones, and it whatever works for each person. But it was interesting to me that so many of the names that were probably some of the most well known didn't make it as far as I thought they would.
And that's one of the cool reasons why when I was selecting people, I wanted some of the big names and some of the not so big names, and also to have people like vote on maybe like not just to think like that's the kayak I want, but man, I respect what that angler did to their kayak, and that's super cool for how they fish, and that's how we wanted the voting to go, and it has gone that way. And there's been sponsorships and there's been brands. There's every brand that's been involved in this one wants to get in the next one, and there's other brands that want to get in, and we have a bunch of different ideas. And I've got our whole Delta Digital crew, which is the umbrella company for Kayak Angler and Wired to Fish. We have meetings, bi-weekly meetings on how we can improve the Yakoffs, and we review everything that's gone on, how it's gone on, what we can improve, what people have commented on. So yeah, anybody ever wants to say anything, shoot me email or text, but Keith at rapidmedia.com, and let me know what you think.
You bet you'll probably get a much younger podcast guy to work with after this too, because I'm sure those podcast guys are out there. Hey, I want to do that. This is okay by me. But
this is perfect. It's called grandfathered, Marty, and it's perfect fit. Yeah. You're grandfathered in.
They took that Kayakjak off the with that letter thing they play, the game show. I don't know what it's called, but the
Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune, yeah. So they got a young guy in there. They may do that, but check this out, man. Look at that. The doggy paddle.
The doggy paddle. Oh, you got that made.
Yeah. So.
Oh, sweet.
Look at that.
Hey, I invented that. I invented that name. That's cool.
You did. Like
I did.
So there's 3 of these. There's a first, second, and third for the paddles. And this is the award, man, right here.
That's very cool. Sweet.
And that's pretty cool. But no, the first man out will win a free entry for next year. Let's put it that way. Which people are bringing dogging. In fact, I had a guy today. He drove up in his lawnmower. He's going to enter the tournament. He mows lawns in the area, and he's 28 years old. And he says, Marty, I'm going to the tournament Saturday. Here's my form. And I go, you know what the entry fee is, right? He goes, yep, I'm bringing a bag of dog and cat food. I go, good for you.
Nice.
Isn't that cool? So
great.
Anyway.
And it's this Saturday, Marty?
Yeah, this Saturday at 6:30 a.m. we launch. And I think I'm going to camp out Friday night if I can. I'm going to try to get a spot. We have graduation this week, and I have no idea how many people. I've always been at graduations, so I don't know what it's like at the camp spots.
Yeah.
But anyway, this whole thing though, Chad, has been a lot of fun, and I've learned a lot. And it's what's good for you, what you do with your kayak. I fish a whole different way than a lot of guys. So my kayak is not what you guys have. It's a Swiss Army knife, and I could get in those bushes and behind those bushes in fact, I got way back in those creeks, and I found bass there were guys that were fishing ahead of me, and they were leaving, and I went behind them, and they go, what's he doing? I went way back there, and I plucked bass out of there, and where they didn't get to.
So Marty, Steven just had a comment. To clear this up for your tournament, Steven just said, watching the wind will be key in getting a lot of bobbers. Do you have a 1 bobber limit? Are you only allowed to
find? Yeah, it's a 1 bobber limit. And by the way, the bobbers are like right in front of the dock area. So it's not.
But everyone's only allowed 1 bobber. You can't go hoard all the bobbers, right?
Yeah, you can only get. Yeah, that's a great point, Stephen, because, we could do it that way where, hey, get as many bobbers as you can. But no, you only get 1 bobber. And you can trade. We don't care. But you get 1 bobber and 1 stick.
Cool. And if you trade your bobber, you're not going to win the kayak. That's got to be bad luck.
Yeah. But then the best fish win this.
Yeah.
And then of course big bass, little bass, whatever. We have a few little contests within the contest. But the main thing is to get people out.
Totally.
Go back to the way we started for a day. With the kayak fishing and have a little fun. And it's a 55-acre lake. It's not like you got to go up a big channel to get to fish, and and it's out of the wind. If there is wind, it's not a big deal there. So here he goes. Let's see. Ethan Jett said, "What you should do. The winner of the kayak goes to whoever picks the most trash." I thought about that, Ethan. I thought about having a prize for somebody who brought in a bag of trash as well. The biggest bag of trash as well. And I can't remember what it was, but I had something here for that. So yeah, it's a good idea. In fact, I'm trying to get together a month one like for June, where people have a thread going on Facebook, and you show a bag of trash. You have an entry for one of the prizes we have a prize box with envelopes with $25 to $100 gift certificates, and you get to choose one of those, a letter there. So I'm thinking about doing that because man, like for instance, Dale Hollow was the most beautiful lake I've ever seen. But yet you go back in the creeks and there was trash blown in there, pretty bad. And same with Truman, there was a little bit of trash there too, Chad, back in the coves, But,
hey, Marty, it'd be kind of fun to show the people watching right now. Pull up the website for Sea Otter Lodge and let them look at that flyover at the first couple seconds.
Absolutely, I can get that while you guys are
talking.
So,
guys, this is where Marty is joining me on a trip to a place I've been developing the first ever fully guided or fully all-inclusive kayak fishing destination on the west coast of Canada, on Vancouver Island. And Marty's coming on this trip. It's seaotterlodgebc.com.
Okay, yeah, I'm
pretty
there.
Impressive flyover.
I think I've got the right one. I don't know. Sea Otter, is it seaotterlodge.com or
seaotterlodgebc.com?
Oh, that's the wrong one then. Okay, I had the wrong one.
It'll open right to the lodge and then the flyover, which is insane.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, let me go back here and then.
Sorry to just throw this on you. I know I'm confusing. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Check this out.
1 second. Share screen.
We're going to be fishing for all 5 species of salmon, mostly Chinook and coho, lingcod. Oh, I see it down in the corner there. There we go. Check this out when it turns around.
It'll come around again. Does it play again?
It'll play. Yeah, just hit refresh on that one.
Okay, here we go. Is it going? No.
It should.
I refreshed it. Come on.
What does your search bar say? Just seaotterlodgebc.com? Or is it on a page?
There's no video though now.
Yeah, you probably because you clicked on one of the pages, probably.
Oh.
Just seaotterlodgebc.com.
That's it, isn't it?
That's it, yeah, but it should fly up when you get to the homepage.
It should?
Yeah, it goes instantly.
Here, let's do it again.
seaotterlodgebc.com. There you go.
It won't play the video.
Well, that makes me look stupid now.
Well, you can see where it's at up there, but
yeah.
I don't know why it's not.
It started to play it.
It did play it. Anyway, it's a pretty cool place, man. Looking forward to. Look at that lodge. Look at that thing.
It looks like this. Where am I going? So this will. I can't hold it straight.
Yeah, I see it.
There we go.
How is yours playing? Mine won't play.
Well, mine's playing on my phone. What is that? I don't know. Anyway, how about this? If you want to see it, check out seaotterlodgebc.com. That's where we're going.
There's a kayak on the shore.
That was me there last year. That's me.
You. Look at that. That's you.
Yeah. I set up the whole program there for them.
That's you out there fishing with some kind of bandana on your head.
Yeah, that's my fish bandana. You'll see a lot of it. Go down further. There's me landing a.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
There you go.
Is that you getting a sea lion or what?
That's a 10-pound coho salmon.
Wow.
Sweet.
It's a poster child of Sea Otter Lodge.
Yep.
That's pretty neat.
It's pretty cool.
Gallery. There we go. Look at that stuff. What do you think, Chad? Could you do that trip?
Yeah, I mean, I took a trip. It's probably been maybe 6 or 8 years ago. I went to Vancouver Island. It wasn't that area, but it was Vancouver Island. It was like a river. I went salmon fishing,
Right.
and it was amazing. It was probably one of the coolest trips of my life. So,
Yeah.
me and a buddy went and caught a ton of salmon. Saw bears. Saw like
Yeah.
tons of wildlife, and it was just beautiful.
There it is, Marty.
The feeling of just being up there is different than anything else that you've ever experienced.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so this place, that what you're looking at right now, it's a 7-acre private island that they own. I went up there last year to check it out because they wanted to advertise with us, and then I ended up doing some consulting for them and building their whole program. And yeah, now we're doing a fam tour up there in June, and that's called the Salmon Super Highway because it's the closest place the salmon come in to shore along the west coast. Boat in, access only, or fly, but it's very remote and cool. That little village there is called Kayakjak.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Is there a Dairy Queen?
There is no Dairy Queen, but I did get a bunch of frozen dilly bars. We're going to bring up for you.
You are really? You are really? That's awesome. That'd be cool.
I don't think they have dilly bars in Canadian Dairy Queens. Maybe. I'll check.
All right. I was going to have some milled there if I could, but they'd be melted though before they got there. All right. So Chad, we got to wish you good luck this week, man. And you got, I told Ethan Jett, go to a Walmart and put a little sign up. Vote for me.
Well, I mean, yeah. On that note of Ethan, I've been messaging Ethan this week actually, and he was a little bummed about his loss, but he did great. That's one of the cool things about this competition is I've got to meet people that I wouldn't have otherwise met and make some new friends. And Gene is like a Goliath in our the kayak fishing world and the fishing world in general. YouTube, he's got, I don't know, close to 500,000 YouTube subscribers, and he's been around as long as I can ever remember, making videos on how to do everything from fishing a fluke to rigging your boat, rigging your kayak, fishing tournaments, everything. And I've watched Gene's videos for as long as I can remember. So if I lose to him, there's nobody I'd rather lose to. But I'm going to do my best, and I've been putting out some videos, and I've got a couple more already made up that I'm going to be posting this week. So,
great.
I hope people will check out some of my stuff and check out my rig. And the cool thing about this contest is we're all putting up what our rigs are, what works best for us. What probably the people who are watching this, they're going to take Gene's rig and take some things that he did, and they're going to apply that to their rig, and maybe some things that are on my rig, and they're going to apply that. You're going to take a little bit from everybody and make your own rig the best for you. Everybody's got their own idea of what they want, and nobody's going to be the same. So you can just take a little bit from everybody and make it your own. And that's the cool thing about this. So anyway,
that was kind of the whole point of it all, right? And things have popped out too, like how important trailers are to people and how many questions people ask about trailers and about different accessories and all that stuff. It's just not the kayak. Like it's been way cooler and it worked out better than I was ever hoping. So
yeah, I don't know if that was a bear or a dog that walked behind you there, Keith.
That's a Zipper. That's my golden retriever.
Okay, that looked like a bear. I didn't know what that was.
Bears won't be in the backyard for about a month.
Oh, jeez. So, Yeah, Ethan Jett said it's definitely been cool to get to know more folks in the kayak community. And then, the thing is, though, you got an ambassador, man. You get Trey Dawson and hit every restaurant in Columbia this week.
Yeah.
Do a fish off. What? No, he had another one here. He said he had the whole state of Missouri voting for you.
Yeah, Trey, I don't know. Gene's got a lot of followers. I know I've got some really dedicated followers. So, I've got a lot of people who are voting for me every day, and I appreciate all of them. And we're just gonna give it our best shot and see how it plays out.
All I got to say, man, it's Tuesday. You got 5 more days to get it out there. So and like I've said to everybody, and they all know that, you can put in new pictures, new videos. We'll get it all uploaded and out there the next day. So anything you want to do, anything you want to show, we'll get it out there, and we'll just keep getting it out there. And then, kind of more exposure, the better.
What I'm going to do is I brought this on here. Whoops, I thought I brought it. So let me get it back in the deal there. So I'm going to show people, you go to the page, the Yakoff page, those that don't know yet, and you click on Vote Now. And there it is, Vote Now. And then you can pick Chad or Gene and make sure your email is in there and your name, and then you can enter.
So the reason you have to put your email in there is because you get entered to win that prize package, which is the kayak, the motor, the battery, the lights, and the cart.
And that's the
just for voting.
Yep. And that's the kayak we're going to have at the lake for people to try this weekend.
That's the same one.
And then that's pretty cool prize, people, just for voting. $3,400 package. And then Chad, you win $2,500 if you win this. Plus, probably, who knows? Maybe some more sponsored stuff. You never know.
There's sponsor stuff. There's going to be. We had a meeting with the editorial team today about what's going to be in the summer issue of Kayak Angler with the winner and all that kind of fun stuff too. So,
well, it's like today.
Cool.
I was writing the article for Bassmaster, and I reached out to a guy, and he had run out of Nico heads. And I was like, man, I wish I'd have known. I'd have given you some there, but I've got some. So, and another guy too as well, on Dale Hollow, he did pretty well with the Nico. Or with a wacky thing, and I was talking about those sleeves and stuff. So I got a package right in there for him. So as a company owner, we're going, hey, there's a guy that's using this stuff. I'm going to help him, and then you know what? They're going to tell all their friends, and then it gets even bigger. So,
do you fish Nico rigs, Marty?
Me? Occasionally. Occasionally.
Well, what's a Nico rig?
Occasionally.
If there's one thing I've learned from this whole Yakoff, it's I've heard the name Nico a lot.
Yeah.
I might name my next dog Nico, actually. No.
Actually, I have a friend who named his dog Nico, and it was after the Nico lure.
Nice. With a clear collar.
With a clear collar. Yeah. You know what? There's an idea.
I know. Shh, don't say it. Don't say it on live TV.
I know. Internet. Yeah. So, we got ideas. All
right.
Right.
Keep something secret.
So, Chad, you probably got to work in the morning, right?
Oh, yeah. I got to go to work. I don't necessarily work, but.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Nice.
I got to go to work in the morning. I'm going to write an article, and then I'm going to go fishing. If my back should be okay by then.
I'll be busy.
Marty only fishes at Dilly Bar.
Yeah. Thanks, Keith. You guys are going to never let that go.
We're never going to let that
down. I'll be at work tomorrow making new videos for the Yakoffs.
There you go.
Good. Get it out there, Chad. You got to get it out there.
Yeah, man. Anything you throw out there, just text me. You obviously know my cell number. Text me whenever you want to put something up there, and I'll get it up right away.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Well, we're going to end this
again, as always, thanks, Marty, for hosting again. And Chad, good luck. And Gene, you're not here, but good luck to you as well. And Jake, good luck next week. And thanks, everybody, for watching.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thanks.